Hello students, how are you all? I hope you all have enjoyed your holidays, summer holidays a lot and all have learned a lot with your parents. I'm back with you with our next chemistry chapter, that is atoms and molecules. In month of April we have completed matter in our surrounding. Notes and question answers were already provided to you in the form of PDF. Second chapter is matter around us pure, which right now we are skipping, and we are directly coming to chapter number 3, that is atoms and molecules. Now the chapter includes these topics, that is law of chemical combination, Dalton's atomic theory, atoms and their symbols, atomic mass, gram atomic mass, ions, molecules, formula of simple and molecular compounds, then molecular mass, formula unit mass, and mole concept. Now these topic includes some of the numericals also. Those numericals you need to l- understand and you need to know how to work on them, because they will be very important according to the point of view of your exams. Now coming to the introduction of the chapter. As we all know that ancient Greek and Indian philosophers have always wondered about unknown matters and unseen matters. The idea of divisibility of matter was considered long back in India, that we all are aware that at around 500 BC it was done. An Indian philosopher, Maharshi Kannad, postulates that if we go on dividing matter, we shall get smaller and smaller particles. To matter, he told as Padarth, and those smaller particles he told as Parmanu and Anu. Then came another Greek philosopher, that is Pakuda. He elaborated this doctrine and said that particles normally exist in a combination or a combined form, which give us various forms of matter. That was the time where discovery of matter was already done. And around in same era, ancient Greek philosopher Demarcus and Leucippus suggested that if we go on dividing matter, then a state is attained where particle cannot be divided further. And this indivisible particle is known as atom, that is known as indivisible in nature. And his philosophy is based on the experiments which was valid, and it was taken, and till the 18th century it was concluded as one of the biggest research which was conducted. Now, by the end of the 18th century, scientists recognized the different elements and compounds and naturally became interested in finding out how and why elements combine. And if they combine, then what happened when they combine? Then this philosophy, this research made them work again and again. After few decades, Antoine Levenizer laid the foundation of chemical science by establishing two important laws of chemical combination. Now, if we talk about laws of chemical combination, so basically the process of combination of two or more elements to form a new compound is governed by certain laws, and those laws are known as chemical combination. Now, two or more elements, we can take the example of hydrogen, oxygen, iron, sulfur, carbon, nitrogen. These all are elements. So when two or more, that means two H2O, so H and O combine to form new compound. This is known as chemical combination. Now there are three types of chemical combination. The first is the law of conservation of mass, the law of constant proportion, then the law of multiple proportion. In this class 9th, we'll be discussing about the law of conservation of mass and the law of constant proportion. Rest we'll discuss in higher classes. Coming to law of conservation of mass. Now, law of conservation of mass was given by Lavoisier in 1744. This law states that mass can neither be created nor can be destroyed in a chemical reaction. In a chemical reaction, mass or weight of a particular compound is never created nor destroyed. जितना mass reaction के पहले था उतना ही बाद में भी होगा. For example, if you are making a lemonade, the lemon amount of water taken, amount of lemon juice, amount of sugar, amount of salt, if you'll weigh them separately, and then when you'll combine and weigh the combined lemonade, you'll come to know कि separately जितना भी उनका mass था वो ही उसका total lemonade में आया है. That is, mass is not destroyed, neither created. We can take the example of the activity from our NCERT textbook. According to that, they are asking us to take two chemicals, X and Y. Chemical X can contain copper sulfate, barium chloride, and lead nitrate. And in Y, sodium carbonate, sodium sulfate, and sodium chloride. Now what you have to do, you have to prepare separately 5% solution of any one pair of substance listed under X, that is either copper sulfate or barium chloride or lead nitrate. So 5% solution. Similarly, either sodium carbonate, sodium sulfate or sodium chloride in a water. Then you have to take a little amount of Y in a conical flask. Here in a diagram you can have a look that bigger conical flask is there. In that a small ignition tube is added. Conical flask is transparent in color. It is a glassware which is used in chemistry lab. Then ignition tube are small tube-like structures in which small amount of chemicals are filled. These ignition tubes are that much small that they can be added inside the conical flask with the help of a thread. Now what you have to do? You have to take a little amount of solution of Y in a conical flask and some solution of X in an ignition tube. Next, you have to you have to hang that ignition tube of the flask carefully so that the solution do not get mixed. Now, before hanging, what you have to do, you have to weigh the amount of solution X separately and the solution Y separately. After weighing, then you have to add them together and you have to mix the solution X and Y. You'll come to know that the weight before the mixing of the X and Y and weight after mixing X and Y will be the same. This helps us to prove the law of conservation of mass, that mass can neither be created nor be destroyed in a chemical reaction. Now, your question might come, okay, ma'am, after increasing the temperature or decreasing the pressure, we can do. So that will be an external activity which will be performed. And right now we are dealing with a simple process that without any external force or a physical or a chemical process, we cannot change the mass of a chemical substance. Next, coming to the law of constant proportion or law of definite proportion. Then comes the second law, that is law of constant proportion or law of definite proportion. This law was given by Peirce in 1797. This law states that in a chemical substance, the elements are always present in definite proportion by mass. Now, definite proportion, that means their ratio is always same comparatively to the mass. Reactant and product. Reactant and product will be having same mass after the definite proportion. For this we can take the best example, we can take the example of water, where the ratio of the mass of hydrogen and oxygen is always 1:8. Whatever source we can take the water, like we can take 10 ml water, 1 ml water, 0.1 ml water, whatever we want. But the ratio will be calculated in 1:8 pattern. So if we take if we take 9 gram of water and decompose it, then 1 gram of hydrogen and 8 gram of oxygen is always obtained. We can take the example of ammonia also, where nitrogen is 14 and hydrogen is 1, but here 3 hydrogen molecules are there. So 14:3 by mass ratio will be there. Now whatever method we use, but this ratio is always followed. Here one diagram is there to show you the law of constant proportion where A and B, that means blue and yellow color combined, they form C and D. That means a new chemical with the same constant proportion. Now, after this, the next problem faced by the scientist was that a proper explanation of these laws were not given. Like why H2O 1 is to 8 only, while NH3 was having 3 molecules of hydrogen, so 3 is there, but hydrogen not 2 and all. So this was little complicated, not able to explain. Then another British chemist, John Dalton, came to an existence and he provided the basics of the theory of nature of matter. Dalton picked up an idea of divisibility of matter, which then he used in his philosophy. He took the name atom as given by the Greek scientists, philosophers, and said them these are the smallest particles. His theory was based on the law of chemical combinations, those two laws which we have already seen, conservation of mass and constant proportion. And his atomic theory provide a well explanation of the laws of these two laws. Now, he has given certain postulates based upon his theory, and according to his theory that all matters, whether an element or a compound or a mixture, is composed of small particles known as atoms. His postulates are six. These six postulates you need to learn. They are very important. The very first postulate says that all matter is made up of very tiny particles called atom. You all are familiar with this first postulate. Second, atoms are indivisible particles which cannot be created nor can be destroyed in a chemical reaction. Like you can keep on cutting and atoms into very small pieces, but still you cannot divide them. Third postulate says that atoms of a given element are identical in mass and chemical properties. That means whichever element is there, it will be always having same mass or an identical mass, and chemical properties will be same. That means hydrogen, then all hydrogen, all oxygens, all irons, all copper will be having identical mass and same chemical properties. Next, atoms of different elements have different masses and different chemical properties. Now, hydrogens will be having same property, oxygens will be having same properties, but these two elements will have different mass comparatively to these two elements, and their chemical property will be different from each other. Now, when atoms combine in a ratio of whole number to form compound, these atoms will combine in a ratio of whole number. That means इनका जितना भी whole number इनका होता है उसके ratio में compound होंगे, जिसको atomic mass number के base पे भी combine होते हैं. Then the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant in a given compound. Now, relative number is a particular number or a size, we can say, which helps us to understand about the particular atom कि उसमें कितने molecule, कितने atoms present है, किस type के atoms उसके अंदर present है, which helps us to study about a particular compound. And to study a particular compound is very important. Like we are dealing right now with the coronavirus, so you right now you can understand the importance of the compound, the chemicals which are used to make the medicine. The scientists are working on vaccines and all. So to know about the exact relative number, kind of atoms present in a compound, helps them to find out the vaccine. These were the 6 postulates. I hope you all might have understood all these postulates. Next, coming to the in-text questions which are given in your NCERT book, page number 32 and page number 33. Now, I am discussing these question answers over here because they are little numerical based. So, I think it must be easier for you if I'll discuss with you. If you find any of the problem, then you can contact through our campus care and you can message me and you can clear the doubts. Coming to the very first question, in a reaction, 5.3 gram of sodium carbonate reacts with 6 gram of ethanoic acid. Now, sodium carbonate and ethanoic acid are reacting. That means they are reactants. They'll be written in the left hand side. Then the product where 2.2 gram of carbon dioxide and 0.9 gram of water and 8.2 gram of sodium ethionate is formed. So these are product. They'll be written on the right hand side after making an arrow. Sodium carbonate, ethanoic acid are reactant. Sodium ethionate, carbon dioxide and water are the products. Now show that these observations are in arrangement with the law of conservation of mass of carbonate. Now carbonate का जो mass conservation है उसके base पे arrange होना चाहिए, conservation of mass के base पे. That carbonate is a misprint. Kindly do not pay attention to that mass of carbonate. Now coming to the answer, 5.3 gram plus 6 gram, that is sodium carbonate and ethanoic acid, gives 8.2 gram sodium ethionate, 2.2 gram carbon dioxide, 0.9 gram water. When we combine, you will come to know that LHS is equal to RHS. 6 plus 5, 11.3. Then 8 plus 2, 11, 9. This 11.3 gram. Mass of reactant is equal to mass of product. This shows that during a chemical reaction, mass of reactant is always equal to mass of product. That is, mass is neither destroyed nor it is created. Next question, question number 2. Hydrogen and oxygen combine in the ratio of 1:8 by mass to form water. What mass of oxygen gas would be required to react completely with 3 gram of hydrogen gas? Now the question says that हाइड्रोजन और ऑक्सीजन जो है वो 1:8 के मास में कंबाइन होकर वाटर बनाते हैं. तो वहीं पे 3 ग्राम ऑफ हाइड्रोजन गैस के साथ कितने ग्राम ऑफ ऑक्सीजन गैस रिएक्ट करेगा ताकि वाटर की फॉर्मेशन हो. सो व्हाट विल डू, रेशियो ऑफ हाइड्रोजन इज टू oxygen, ratio of oxygen by mass in water is equal to hydrogen is to oxygen. So hydrogen कितना है 1 है, oxygen 8 है, तो 1:8 is equal to 3 into 8. Now 1:8 is given, so 1:8 into 3, so it will be 8 into 3, that will be 24. That means 24 gram of oxygen gas would be required to react completely with 3 gram of hydrogen gas. Next, third question. Which postulate of Dalton's atomic theory is the result of the law of conservation of mass? Now they are asking that Dalton के atomic theory में कौन सी postulate ऐसी है जो law of conservation of mass के result के through बनी है? तो that will be of the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant in a given compound. And next postulate will be atoms cannot be created nor can be destroyed in a chemical reaction. That means mass of the atom cannot be created nor can be destroyed in a chemical reaction. These two postulates are there. That is postulate number 6 and postulate number 4. Next, coming to question number 4. Which postulate of Dalton's atomic theory can explain the law of definite proportion? Now, according to the Dalton's atomic theory, which postulate is the one which helps to explain the law of definite proportion? So, that postulate number 6, that is the relative number and kinds of atoms are constant in a given compound. This one. Now, this was about the chapter. That question might be having some errors, writing error, that can be eliminated, but apart from that, I hope the topic which I have explained you, that is law of chemical combinations, the two laws, law of conservation of mass and law of constant proportion, I think they are might be totally clear to you all. You need to learn them, you need to understand, because numerical based on these questions are asked. I have cleared the NCERT questions. I'll give you the extra questions also through Campus Care so that you can work on them. Our next topic will be about atoms and their symbols, atomic mass and gram atomic number. Till then, read the chapter through your NCERT book, go through the PPT, clear your doubts, write down the question answers from your PPT and from your PDFs and keep your fair copies ready. Till our next topic, take care and stay safe.